Magna Carta, the accidental birth of constitutional liberty. In 1215, on a meadow beside the River Thames at Runnymede, a political compromise was forced upon an unwilling king. Few of those present could have imagined that this fragile agreement, written in Latin and sealed under pressure, would echo across centuries. The Magna Carta, literally the Great Charter, has since become one of the most influential documents in legal and political history, not because it created democracy, but because it planted the idea that power could be limited by law. The context of Magna Carta was neither idealistic nor philosophical. England was ruled by King John, a monarch widely criticized for military failure, heavy taxation, and arbitrary justice. His barons, burdened by financial demands and angered by abuses of royal authority, rebelled. Magna Carta emerged as a peace treaty, designed to protect the privileges of the nobility rather than the rights of ordinary people. It was not written for the public, nor intended as a timeless declaration of freedom. And yet, within its 63 clauses lay something revolutionary. For the first time in English history, the king formally acknowledged that he was subject to the law. Clauses addressing unlawful imprisonment, excessive fines, and the denial of justice introduced a principle that would later be summarized as the rule of law. One clause in particular, stating that no free person could be punished without lawful judgment by their equals, would become a cornerstone of legal thought. It is important not to romanticize the document. Most of Magna Carta dealt with feudal technicalities, inheritance rights, debts, and the management of royal forests. Women, peasants, and the unfree majority of the population were largely excluded from its protections. Moreover, King John had no intention of honoring it. Within weeks, the charter was annulled by the Pope, and civil war resumed. What transformed Magna Carta from failed settlement into enduring symbol was repetition and reinterpretation. After John's death, later kings reissued revised versions of the charter to secure political support. Over time, lawyers and judges began to treat it not as a historical compromise, but as a statement of fundamental principles. Its meaning expanded far beyond its original purpose. By the early modern period, Magna Carta had become a weapon against absolute monarchy. English parliamentarians cited it to challenge royal overreach, arguing that ancient liberties had been violated. This reinterpretation, though historically selective, proved powerful. The charter became less a medieval document and more a constitutional myth, one that shaped political imagination. Its influence eventually crossed borders. Ideas rooted in Magna Carta helped shape legal traditions in Britain and beyond, influencing constitutional thought in countries such as the United States. Concepts like due process, limits on executive power, and protection against arbitrary detention all carry its intellectual imprint, even when the original text is no longer directly invoked. What makes Magna Carta remarkable is not what it achieved in 1215, but what people later believed it meant. It survived because each generation found something useful in it. In this sense, its power lies in interpretation rather than authorship. Magna Carta reminds us that political progress is rarely born fully formed. It often begins as compromise, conflict, or even failure. A document written to protect elite interests became, over centuries, a symbol of liberty under law. Not because it promised equality, but because it dared to suggest that authority itself could be questioned. In that quiet challenge, sealed on a riverbank 800 years ago, the modern idea of constitutional government began to take shape.